Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Strong and the Geek. We are your one-stop shop for all things pop culture, nerd culture, and basically every other culture you can think of. I am your host, Ben Ramirez. With me this week, now I'm really excited about this one. We have Not Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It is not him.
How you doing?
Pretty good. I am excited to be on the show. I've heard only good things from all around the World Wide Web.
Awesome. So, what's going on with you this week?
Well, we have things with me this week are going well. We have a very exciting show for you all today. We're gonna catch up on a whole bunch of stuff. We're gonna be talking about movies we think deserve sequels. We're gonna be talking about a very special Geek of the Week and all that sort of fun stuff. But first, back to his question. So this week, just a couple big things that I did. I purchased a new car.
Yes, you did. I just took a look at it.
I did.
I am filled with envy.
The 2015 Honda Accord. I like it a lot. The interior's nice. The exterior's nice. It has the EcoBoost. It's good on miles. I would give it a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5. You know what? Someone get me an orange lantern ring because I'm feeling like Gollum right now.
Or Larfleeze.
Larfleeze, yeah. Well, I mean, if Gollum was going to get a ring of power, it would certainly be the orange ring, though.
You mean a lantern ring?
Oh yeah,
he had the ring of power. Yeah, he had the ring of power.
A power ring, not a ring of power.
So yeah, I bought the car. That's been cool. I've been driving around. I kind of the only problem with it is that I haven't gotten used to its gas yet, and it is so smooth that I've been driving on the road and think I'm going the speed limit, and then I'll look and I'll notice that I'm going 25 over. I had no idea.
Hey, you gotta watch that.
Yeah, so I know that I've gotten used to it now. But the first day or two, I was doing 80, and I felt like I was doing 55. So, but I'm getting used to it. The other thing, let's think. I bought a couple graphic novels. So I bought V for Vendetta. I haven't read that one yet. I got Under the Red Hood finally, so I'm excited to read that, particularly because when we talk about the upcoming Batman movie, the solo Batman movie, I think it's pretty unanimous between us, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that we all want to see some kind of adaptation of the Red Hood.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I
mean, they've clearly hinted at that, so.
Right, and that's a obviously super famous story, but I've never actually read it myself, so I'm excited to read that one. And I also, finally, I obtained my Make Donald Drumpf Again hat.
So yeah, shout
out to our boy John Oliver. Thanks for the hat, my man. It was funny because the hats were really back ordered. So I ordered it, and it said that they would ship it to me as soon as possible. And this was a month ago. And it might have been a month and a half ago or something. But I still, I'm fast forward a month later, I still hadn't had the hat. So I tweeted at John Oliver, hey bro, still haven't got my hat yet. What's up with that? And funny enough, the very next day I got an email from HBO Shop saying, sorry for the delay, your hat's been sent. Okay. I think it might just be a coincidence, but the timing was pretty impeccable.
They knew it was not Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. No.
They saw a tweet from Josh Ramirez and said, nope, this thing, we need to get it to him right away.
Stat. Yeah, but and I did a color run. So those runs where you do I did this yesterday. Those 5Ks where they throw color and stuff. And
where they throw a bunch of.
It's colored chalk.
Chalk dust?
Yeah, it's like chalk dust. And so that stuff tastes like shit. It tastes horrible. And
out of 10,
it gets 0.5 out of 10. Well, this is the funny thing. So we were sitting there, and before I can only describe the pre-race festivities as it felt like a fucking a youth group rally, and the guy
fucking youth group.
The guy who was there, he kept saying he had his mic and he was like, "Are y'all ready to have fun and get colorful? When I say more, you say fun, more, more." And then he was like, "Do you guys?" But he was kind of like, "I have my cannon here." He whipped out one of those T-shirt cannons, but it was filled with the chalk dust. He's like, "Who wants to get blasted?" And then people were "Yeah," and he would just blast him in the face with the chalk dust. And then he was like, "Yeah, if you can't tell, this is my first rodeo." He really pissed me off.
Do you think maybe he had a different type of dust that he had handled before?
No, honestly, I was half expecting him at some point to be like, now, you know what really gets me amped even more than running? Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Like, I was expecting him to whip that out at some point.
It is odd that, like, people that are, like youth pastors, they seem like they're really into God, but you could easily just say that they're really into cocaine.
Or really into anything.
Yeah, it's like, gotta get my Jesus dust.
Yeah, but but I found out that the stuff tasted so horrible. But we found out that there's some color runs like that the dust they use flavored dust, like so basically it's like
So
fun dip, fun dip powder, like just throw it in the air. So I was kind of pissed then that we didn't go to that one.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's that was my week. How about you?
Well, was that for like a charity or?
Yeah, the money goes to charity. I just kind of tagged along with my friends who were doing it.
Oh, that's cool.
It was fun.
That's noble of you.
Yeah, my foot kind of hurts. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it was good.
I lost my voice randomly for like 3 or 4 days this week.
Did you ever end up finding it?
Well, obviously.
Oh, that's true.
Actually, I didn't have my voice back until like last night, just this morning. I was afraid that we wouldn't even be able to record, or you'd have to do the show by yourself because
a one-man act.
I couldn't talk. Yesterday, I sounded like Sling Blade. I was talking like this all day long.
Oh, do you talk like that for the horse of the show?
You think I should talk like this for the rest of the show?
Yeah, give the people what they want.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so yeah, thankfully my voice came back. I'm drinking a lot of tea, eating a lot of Ricola.
Oh.
Yeah, the real stuff too.
Yeah.
Other than that, today I had a weird journey, culinary-wise.
Okay.
For breakfast, we ate it at a little crepe place called Helena's. I had crepes for breakfast that were made with locally sourced butter and honey.
That's really hipster of you.
They were super good.
That's super hipster of you.
Yeah, my kids ate one that was filled with strawberries and Nutella.
Oh, Stratella.
Yeah. So that was good. For lunch, we went to my in-laws' house, and she had made like Thanksgiving dinner, like turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, the whole nine.
Right.
Which, why not have that for Sunday lunch?
In April.
And then the kids went with her with my mother-in-law to go watch The Jungle Book this evening. So the wife and I decided, let's go somewhere we haven't been before. Went to a Spanish/Moroccan restaurant for dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Called Andalusia.
Yeah, it's very good.
I had never eaten there before.
Tapas.
Yeah, we had the tapas.
Tapas.
Dude, that place was fantastic.
Yeah, it's very good.
We got the pork tenderloin, with the figs and whatnot.
Everything's really good.
So good.
Nice. And also, you were mentioning before we started the show also that you watched a whole bunch of films this week.
You're right. I did watch some movies that were on my kind of have not yet seen, but on the list.
So why don't you, without going into too much detail, just rattle off the name of a movie, and then you're out of 10, just the movie, and you're out of 10.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Out of 10, that's what I thought of it.
And if I've seen it, I'll give my out of 10.
Okay. The first one I watched was Mad Max Fury Road. I'd say it was probably for me like a 7.
Okay, a 7. So that would be good.
Yeah, great. I mean, it was great action. There's just not enough dialogue.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. So.
And then I saw Kingsman. Kingsman was like a 9. That movie was super cool.
That's
very fun.
The English secret agent movie, right?
Yeah, but it's also like really violent.
Samuel Jackson's the bad guy, right?
Yeah, he is a very fun villain.
So that's probably a 2 out of 10, just like automatically just for him being a villain.
A 2? Oh, you mean like that adds 2?
It got 2. Yeah, plus 2. Yeah, plus 2.
Even if like nothing else in the movie happened, it already has a 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd give that one a 9. I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
I thought it was great. Then I watched Trainwreck, the Amy Schumer, Bill Hader comedy.
Oh, how is that?
It was actually really good. It turned the whole trope of a romantic comedy on its head because he's the one that has everything together and she's the complete mess up. And at the end, she's the one that has to come to him for, and apologize and make a big gesture.
Okay, so you're out of 10 for that one?
Out of 10 for that one, I'd give it an 8.
An 8, wow.
And I don't like romantic comedies. LeBron James and John Cena were both really, really funny in that movie.
John Cena!
John Cena's character, Steven. You should watch the movie.
John Cena didn't play John Cena?
No, he played a guy named Steven.
Oh.
Who's a complete idiot.
Nice.
And then LeBron James, of course, plays himself.
Yeah. All right, any other films you saw?
The last one I saw was Jurassic World, which I had not yet seen. I watched that last night. I didn't like it.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah, I didn't like the CGI. I didn't like the fact that the dinosaurs were like talking to each other. It took away the original Jurassic Park. They felt like real animals. In this one, they felt like like it was a monster movie as opposed to like a movie about animals. You know what I mean? And I know that seems weird, but for me, it was a 4.
A 4. Oh wow.
Yeah, it was below average.
Oh, I would have given it an 8. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. Chris Pratt's awesome. I think the whole cast did pretty well. It was cool to bring some of the people from the original Jurassic Park back, like that.
Yeah, I will say that.
Doctor, and there's some sequels coming out.
And the movie was very self-aware. I'll give it that much. Like it made comments about like, nothing that they always want it with bigger teeth and much bigger.
Right.
This is what we had to do. So it was literally like the director saying like, "Hey, you guys wanted another Jurassic Park movie. We had to make a dinosaur for it." You know what I mean? I feel like that was kind of they were trying to shimmy that in.
Okay.
But overall, I felt it could have been done better.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so that was kind of what happened with you and what happened with me during the week. So let's move on to talking about our big nerdy news of the week. Anything that happened. So to start out, your hat reminds me. If you all can't see, he's wearing a wonderful Flash hat,
and none of them can see.
And well. Maybe a couple. But anyway, we were blessed this week with the opportunity that The Flash, after its couple-week hiatus, finally returned to TV. Which, by the way, just an aside, at the CW, stop taking hiatuses. Because it really pisses us off. Especially hiati. When we want to know what's going on with Barry and Zoom and everybody, except for, I don't give a shit about Iris's trying to date other people. Like that's irrelevant.
Skip.
But other than that, like we want to know, particularly Cisco, and
we want to see him vibe. We want to see what's going to happen with Wally West and how he's going to get his powers
if he ever does. And they take 3 weeks off at a time. It just really pisses us off. But so we finally got the flashback. And go ahead, Ben, tell them what you thought of this week's episode.
You know what? I thought it was great. I was a little disappointed that they came up with this idea that he was just evil from the get-go, because I really did think...
Tell them what you're referring to.
My original thought was that Jay Garrick became addicted to the speed Velocity 9, and that in the future he becomes Zoom, and he used the Speed Force to come back in time to steal Barry Allen's and his own Jay Garrick's speed.
So he wouldn't need Velocity 9 in the future.
Yeah, like to make it like a weird loop.
Okay, that's a good
theory. And then
it
turns out that he was Hunter Zolomon, and that he just came back and convinced his past self to let him kill himself.
I think that was a different self, wasn't it? Like there was a different self.
It was his speed, his murmur, his time murmur.
I'm not sure what. I think it was him from. That's something I was confused about. Actually,
it was timey-wimey.
That it was because it can't be him from the past, because if he kills himself in the past, he won't exist in the future. So it had to be him from like a different.
Well, no, I think
timeline or something.
I think it followed the same timeline idea as like we saw Eobard Thawne, even though we know that he disappeared from the timeline. Remember?
Oh yeah, true.
Because the idea is that in his life cycle, he has not yet reached the point where he had to go back in time and get killed.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah,
shows with time travel always
do a lot of really weird stuff with time. You know what? If you want to talk about time travel, actually, a very recent episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gave the best explanation of time travel, or in any case, someone has their power is that when you touch them, you see the future, and usually you see like when you die. And they're all like, keeps going on about how can we stop this from happening. And one of the characters, I know you don't watch the show, but...
okay, so what happened then?
So basically, one of the characters who's a scientist explains that when we look at a piece of paper, we're looking at it from a 3-dimensional view on a 2-dimensional object. So if we were 2-dimensional, we wouldn't be able to see a line, we would only see a dot. So then he takes a stack of papers and he draws a line up across it, and he goes, what we see here from the side, because we're looking at it 3-dimensionally, is a line, but they just see a series of dots. So the fourth dimension being time, if you're looking at it from the fourth dimension to the third dimension, there's no such thing as past, present, and future. There's just the line that we see as a series of dots. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're kind of losing me, to be honest.
The point is that it doesn't matter if someone goes back in time or goes forward in time. It just happens. Like, we perceive time, but it's not really a thing.
Okay. That's cool, I guess. I'm gonna go back to the Flash though. So
hey, well, you know what? Agents of Shield is nerdy enough to be discussed.
Yeah,
on this
no,
show.
of course, yeah. I don't ever watch it, but I understand. No, but to go back to my point about the Flash was just that. So in the week's episode, yes, we had Zoom's origin that he is in fact Hunter Solomon.
Yeah, we went on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah,
there.
he was Hunter Solomon, confirmed now. He's not Jay Garrick. That was just an ad to ruse. So we don't know if Jay Garrick actually is a real character or if he just made that up in this Flash
I think he's the Man in the Mask.
See, I think the Man in the Mask was because in the episode he made that thing about like getting your family when he went to go get Wally. I think that he might also be referring to. I think the Man in the Mask is Henry Allen. I think it's.
You think it's Earth 2 Henry Allen?
No, I think it's Earth 1 Henry Allen. I think that Zoom has kind of his ace in the hole as he has Barry's dad.
So you think he got him really early on, and that's why we haven't seen him
that's why
again?
we haven't seen him all season. That's what I think is.
That would explain why they got they had him bye as soon as he got out of jail.
And he was trying to tell him like, hey, the Jay is evil.
Yeah, he was trying to...
That, or I want it to either be that, or I want it to be, you're right, that it's a real Jay Garrick.
Well, you know what, and they might end up saying something like, the reason why he taps out the way he does is, like, that's how they communicated in prison.
Yeah, that would make sense, too.
Like, because that would be a way to be like, oh, that's why... Because they said it wasn't Morse code, it was, like, a specific numeric type thing.
They said it was, like, a military thing, right? Like the POWs would do.
Well, I thought it was like he tapped so many times and then stopped, and that was
it was no. But I think that they said that was in that episode. They said that was a code that like POWs would do. Oh, well.
The other thing about this particular episode of The Flash that made me angry was the fact that like once they got Wally West back and like he agreed like I'll give you my speed, then he's just standing there. It's like no, just rush him. Yeah. Why are you standing there?
That kind of pissed me off too because he's like we already know at that point he was faster than Zoom.
Yeah,
he could have.
I think at that point the writers had written themselves into a corner. They were just Barry Allen is so honest that once he gives his word, he's gonna do it.
No, that is true though. That is true. The character of
but I was like,
Flash.
Why wouldn't you just rush him?
Yeah.
And beat the shit out of him?
I think that what's gonna happen is that now that Barry gave him his speed, something's gonna happen, and that speed is gonna end up being given to Wally, and that's how Wally's gonna become Kid Flash.
Well, and I mean, if you look at Infinite Crisis, I mean, it is literally Barry Allen that makes Wally West into the Flash, so it makes sense. Was that in Infinite Crisis, or was that on...
I wasn't in it.
It was in one of the Crises.
That wasn't in Infinite Crisis.
It was in the Crisis where Barry Allen dies.
Oh, that's Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That's Crisis on Infinite Earths.
There's so many crises.
There's Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually have been reading Crisis on Infinite Earths. I haven't finished it yet. But...
Oh, well... Spoiler alert.
No, I know that. I know what happens.
Barry Allen in the Speed Force is the lightning bolt that hits Wally West.
Yeah, because he's talking to he's been like communicating with Batman like in the story throughout the story through the Speed Force. Okay, so that's moving on from the Flash. This week, it's funny you're wearing the Flash hat and the Star Wars shirt because the Star Wars is the next thing we want to talk about.
I'm always decked out in geek gear.
George Lucas, I guess this week I read a report
I
about
had not heard this.
him. Yeah, so George Lucas was making comments about basically saying that Star Wars, so the entire Star Wars saga, all 7 movies now, that they're being narrated by R2-D2, and that R2-D2 is actually, it's not the story of the Skywalkers. The main hero of Star Wars is actually
he's the primary
R2-D2 because he's always saving people in every one, and he's been there for everything, and he didn't have his mind wiped like C-3PO did, so he remembers everything, and this is why he remembers who Obi-Wan Kenobi is in Episode 4, and he's able to go seek him out because he remembers all this stuff.
It's so weird that Obi-Wan Kenobi couldn't remember who he was.
Well, there's lots of astromech droids out there, yeah, true. But, so I thought that's kind of dumb.
Well, I think George Lucas is gonna be like J.K. Rowling and keeps for decades to come is just gonna keep coming back and be like, oh, and just so you know, Harry Potter is actually blood type AB negative. It's like nobody gives a shit.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I disagree because that new Harry Potter book is selling like crazy, and the show, the stage play that actually it is based off, is already sold out.
But I mean, she keeps coming out and being like, oh, and then this, and then and then.
Well, and so George Lucas is doing that same thing. But
and he did the same thing with his movies by putting a bunch of CGI bullshit into it.
So, that was in the news this week, and it was kind of disappointing to think that R2-D2 is just retelling, and that's why it's a long time ago because this is supposed to be 100 years after the movies are over. Yeah. He's telling the story of it.
And it's probably, he's telling it to someone here, that's why it's in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, that would make sense too.
Here's the thing about George Lucas, before we can move on to the next topic. I recently was watching a program where they were talking about different Star Wars video games, and they were talking about Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, which he had a lot of creative input on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which the first Star Wars: The Force Unleashed game I loved.
Yeah, it was pretty
fun.
The
second one was
I never played part 2.
The second one was garbage. But the first one was really good. The thing is, they kept the character's name as Starkiller, which originally, that was like
Luke's. It was Luke Starkiller.
Huh?
In the original first draft of Star Wars, he was Luke Starkiller, before they changed it to Skywalker.
Well, that's beside the point. What I'm saying is they had the character was named Starkiller, but that was just what they were using as like a placeholder until they were going to give him a Darth name. They were going to have the game start with Darth Vader calling him Darth something.
Okay.
And when they were having a meeting, apparently George Lucas said, gave suggestions like Darth Insanius and Darth Icky.
I like Darth Icky.
ICKY. Darth Icky.
You know what? Next week on the show, we should have not Darth Icky.
Apparently, everyone in the room just froze and waited for him to be like, just kidding, can you imagine? That'd be fucking stupid. Yeah. And he was just like, yeah, so moving on, he went to the next topic. And you know what, I think George Lucas is just he had a hit when he was younger, and then he just went insane.
Yeah, I think he kind of lost it. Because
Darth Icky.
Yeah, and you know what? I hope that he doesn't have a lot of hands on. I don't know if you knew this, but Indiana Jones 5 is confirmed that it's coming out in 2019. I hope that he doesn't have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, you know what? I heard about them possibly recasting Indiana Jones.
Well, I don't know who it would be, but
well, of course they're all talking about Chris Pratt as being Indiana Jones.
That'd be cool.
I think he'd be a great Indiana Jones. But then the other question is, what would you do with Harrison Ford?
You kill him.
Well, people are saying it would be a newer Indiana Jones, but you need to have Indiana Jones. So I think the movie would be great if it was Harrison Ford talking about one of his old adventures.
Okay.
And Chris Pratt is then plays young Indiana Jones.
Then
from the next movie on, you don't need to have Harrison Ford in it anymore, because then we've already set up. Because they've already confirmed that Harrison Ford's going to be in it.
Or what you could do is you could just have Harrison Ford as old Indiana Jones, and then do what they did in that Terminator movie and use CG to create a young Harrison Ford. What they did with a young Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And what they did with Michael Douglas and Ant-Man.
Yeah, just do that. That would be
what?
Cool.
Let's not do that.
I'm kidding. I was joking.
Let's not do that
cool.
at all.
All right, so we talked about Star Wars, talked about The Flash. Any other crazy nerd stuff that happened this week to highlight to mention?
Probably. I feel like we always leave stuff out.
Well,
oh, you know what? One thing. Last week when we were talking about Metal Gear Solid, and I couldn't think of someone I'd want to play Snake, and we just said I'll leave it up to Tarantino. After watching Mad Max this week and remembering how good Tom Hardy is, I think I want Tom Hardy to play Snake.
You know what? I actually thought about that after the show was done recording. I thought that would be really good too.
Yeah, all week I was like, who would it be? And then I was watching Mad Max, and I was like, oh, dude, Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that would
make
be cool.
a great solid Snake.
Oh, the last thing I wanted to mention, that would be cool. The last thing I wanted to mention about just this week news was that, so there's a rumor out there that for the Green Lantern Corps movie, that we're going to be getting Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, and Kyle Rayner. So I think that would be awesome. I love Kyle Rayner. And obviously I love Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart also. But Kyle Rayner I think would be cool because he's just always such a different Lantern. He's the one who's no, I'm not supposed to be here. I have no military background. I am an artist.
Yeah,
I draw cartoons.
He's a kid who lives in
I draw cartoons. I don't
studio apartment.
Yeah, he doesn't. So I think that'll be cool to see how they handle that, especially with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart probably being I hope they go with the route where it's they're the seasoned veteran Lanterns and Kyle Rayner is new. He doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. So long as they leave out Guy Gardner.
Yeah, Guy Gardner's garbage.
Guy Gardner.
It'd be weird if they found a way to put Alan. They're not going to do it, but if they put Alan Scott in there somehow, that'd be kind of cool too. Alan Scott, if you don't know, is the original Green Lantern, and he still exists in the Justice Society on other Earths, but he has no relation to the Green Lantern Corps.
Well, and that's why there's
his
no
ring
way
is magic.
It would make sense in this movie because this movie is literally the Green Lantern.
Yeah, I know. I just don't. Spitballing.
Yeah, that was before they'd come up with the whole sci-fi end of it, so it was just that he had a ring that used magic power.
Yeah, and instead of it being his weakness, so the Green Lantern's original weakness is yellow, the color of fear. Well, Alan Scott's weakness is wood.
That's right.
His ring doesn't work on anything made of wood.
Anything made of wood.
So
you could take him out with wooden bullets.
Yeah, or one of those wood toy swords.
Throw the shit out of him.
Throw a rocking horse at him.
If he wore wooden armor, he couldn't even touch you.
That's true. Yeah, or George Washington with wooden teeth.
His teeth weren't actually made of wood.
I know, but you could, well...
They were like sheep teeth.
If they were, but if they were wood, you could bite them with wood teeth. All right, so I think it's about that time for...
Let's talk about this week's Geek of the Week.
Geek of the Week.
Geek of the Week.
Yeah.
Wickedy, wickedy, week.
Yeah, that guy's that Geek of the Week.
Geekity, geekity, geek.
What the fuck just happened? I think we're broken.
That was like our morning zoo.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have a soundboard, so we just have to do our...
many...
Ooh, it's Peach Fuzz and the bus.
Yeah. All right, go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead. Introduce our Geek of the Week this week.
This week, I was trying to find someone awesome, and I did. In the UK, there is a village called Gotham in Nottingham, so that's already like two geeky things together.
Yeah, so Gotham, obviously referring to Gotham City, where Batman's from, and Nottingham, well, it's Nottingham, was how you'd say it in English, but referring to where Robin Hood is from.
Yeah, why are you talking like that?
Because I'm helping the, I don't know.
Just being a dick.
Yeah, I'm helping the studio audience know where we're from.
Yeah, so we already got Gotham and Nottingham. That's geeky enough as it is. Turns out this, in the UK, there's a graffiti artist who, in the village of Gotham, went to a nursery school and spray painted a mural of Batman and the Batmobile and, like, the landscape from Gotham City on the side of this building. So it looks awesome.
So he graffitied, not X-ray, what the fuck am I talking about?
Yeah, he used his X-ray vision.
Yeah, he graffitied Batman in Gotham, which is sweet.
Yeah. Fantastic. Didn't do it like, you know what I mean, he just did it because he loves Gotham and Batman. Which
Batman, what does it like most resemble? Like Jim Lee's Batman or like from the movie Batman? Or?
It looked kind of Arkham City, or Arkham games.
Yeah, the Arkham, okay.
But, so but a little more cartoonish than that because, you know, it's a graffiti painting.
Yeah, and it's two-dimensional. Which Batmobile?
It looked similar to, from what I recall, I don't have it up in front of me right now, but to what I recall, it looked similar to the one from the new film.
Oh, okay. So
halfway between the Tumbler and the original Batmobile.
The BVS one, sort of. Okay, cool.
In any case, yeah, great job to our Geek of the Week. By the way, his name, Buber Nebz.
Buber.
I don't know if that's how that's pronounced.
Probably not. But...
Buber.
Right.
Nebz.
And we'll tweet out the link to the mural and good old Buber, so you guys can check him out. But congratulations, Buber. We're proud of you. If you want to come over to the U.S. and graffiti our studio, that would be pretty cool. We would love to have the Dark Knight watching over us as we talk about the Dark Knight watching over us. That'd be kind of cool and meta.
Yeah, it was a really cool thing. I wish I was talented like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Buber, your check for $0.00. Oh, sorry, £0.20 and £0.0 will be in the mail.
Here,
this is it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys can't see it at home, but I'm bringing it up here.
That is very. It looks like it looks like the Batman from the Dark Knight. Actually, and that is the Tumbler. It's straight out.
Is it the Tumbler?
Yeah, that's the Christopher Nolan Batman.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Now that I look at it.
And even the bat signal.
Now that I look at it, you're right.
That's cool. All right, so you just completely lied to everybody.
Well, I looked at it a couple days ago, and then I got to doing other things.
Well, now you guys know. Don't listen to Ben, because he's full of shit.
All right, so it's the Dark Knight Batman, which the Arkham games were based around. Anyway. ...
All right. So, yeah, congratulations, Buber.
Good on you, boobs.
You're the duder, Buber. All right.
I wonder if he needs some money, if he would be an Uber driver.
Oh,
Buber the Uber?
Buber the Uber? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Uber Buber sounds like a really cool superhero.
Oh, God. It sells itself, doesn't it?
Uber Buber!
Uber Buber to the rescue. Painting one nursery at a time.
Yeah, he just graffitis people in the face.
Yeah, and then... tonks their boobers. Yeah. I don't know.
And twiddles their nebs.
Oh God, we just went like from our actual age to minus 15 years, like real quick.
Your name is Buber Nebz.
Yeah. It's like lemon butts.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, moving on.
They don't understand that.
No, it doesn't matter. All right. So our main story tonight is regarding films that we think deserve sequels, not reboots, like direct continuations of their stories. So first we're going to talk about our ideas, and then we're going to we'll just briefly mention afterward some of the suggestions that we got this week from on Twitter.
Now here's the thing about these movies: all of them, some of them are sequels that are like a part 3 or a part 4 because there've already been other movies.
Sure,
but these are movies that have not been confirmed that there's going to be a sequel.
Some of them have been actually directly discounted. That no, we're not ever going to make it.
Or they're talking about like, oh, we might make it, but that'll be years down the road. So there's no like actual word on any of these.
Right. Okay. So in thinking about this, the first one that I thought would be really cool, and I've always wanted to see, would be Back to the Future #4. So continuing Marty and the Doc story, because at the end of Back to the Future 3, there was that big ass train that can travel through time and fly, and we never. I mean, you saw in the Back to the Future cartoon that they had. We had a little bit of that where the train,
I remember that.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's considered canon or not, but they went on some more adventures after that. Well, I wanted a whole feature-length film, so it could be, in modern day, the Doc comes in the train with his family. Maybe his kids are now grown up, and they can be the protagonists.
Oh, so you think that movie should be made now as opposed to have been made back then?
No, made now, yeah. So that his kids, we can now be played by, young adult actors. Mm-hmm. They could be like the new protagonists, but Back to the Future 4 could be like them teaming up with the old Doc and old Marty now to try and like they have to go in the train and they have to find old Doc and old Marty because they fucked up the timeline or something.
Yeah, you know what? They could just be like, yeah, we really must have fucked up the timeline because you remember what 2015 was supposed to look like?
Yeah, well, that would explain itself.
Yeah, and then like they're looking around like there's just a bunch of hipsters.
Yeah.
There's no hoverboards at all.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess there are, but those aren't hoverboards.
No, yeah, cars don't fly unless you use catapults to fling them.
Yeah, I feel like there would be a lot of good opportunities for humor in that.
Yeah. Like, wow, this is so much.
It would be fourth wall breaking.
Yeah. Well, Marty could be like they could be talking to Marty and be like, dude, Uncle Marty, didn't you go to 2015 like back in the 80s? Yeah, but it's a little bit different than I remember it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like whatever happened to Jaws 19? Oh, well, after we went back in time and stopped it from being made. So, but I think that would be a good one. Obviously, you bring back all the original cast members who are still among the living, who I think everyone would be, and you can even throw in Biff. Maybe get Biff in there. Why not? So yeah, Back to the Future 4. I think it'd be cool. I think a lot of people want to see it. Robert Zemeckis can direct it.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
I think it'd be really cool. And you get to see, with the special effects nowadays, the time travel effects would be pretty cool with that flying train. And you obviously would have to bring back the DeLorean. But the word on the street is that in 2016 or 2017, they're building new DeLoreans again.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
So use the new DeLorean. It sells itself. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, I'm totally on board for that.
Yeah, and we could even have it cross over with Legends of Tomorrow and have the Time Lords and all that shit.
Oh, the Time Lords.
I see Time Lords, the Time Masters.
You know what? We'll cross over with Doctor Who and
the Flash and the Flash can there. No, but jokes aside, I think that
Rick and Morty will get in on that shit.
I don't think there would need to be like a villain or anything, but it could be something like that.
Like the time is breaking down or something.
And like you remember like in the first Back to the Future how like Marty was like his disappearing because he fucked up the timeline. Well, they do it like on such a grand scale that like history itself is being like erased, and so they need to get the Doc because he's the only one who can help them.
And then Peabody and Mr. Sherman can show up in the Wayback Machine and help out.
Yes. Basically anything that ever has involved any form of time travel can be in Back to the Future 4.
Absolutely, and the Terminators.
Yeah.
Just a whole bunch of Terminators.
Well, no, Back to the Future 4 Out of Time or something like that.
Yeah. Or like Back to the Future 4. To the future we go back.
Yes, and of course it would at some point inevitably in that movie you would hear "Great Scott!" and we have to go back to the future. And then he'd look he'd look right at the camera and kind of like wink.
And then like Scott Baio will show up and he's like, "Great Scott!"
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God. All right. Enough. You do yours.
Shout out to Scott Baio.
That was the shittiest joke that we've ever had on this show.
It's actually the shittiest joke I've ever said.
Yeah, by far. Oh, God.
Good job, Scott Baio.
Okay, enough.
All right. Keeping in the theme of movies that already have sequels, but I think need another one, I'm talking Boondock Saints 3.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, we had Boondock Saints, the original, then we had Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. Keeping in theme with the silly tagline after the name of the movie, I'm saying Boondock Saints 3, The Saints Go Marching In.
Okay, because that is also a song.
Yeah. So, in my idea, a few years have passed since the McManus brothers, at the end of Boondock Saints 2 where they were locked up. So Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery, they thought that they were going to get right out of prison, but the detectives who, at the end of, for you guys who haven't seen it, at the end of Boondock Saints 2, they get locked up, and it reveals that Willem Dafoe is still alive, and he tells Julie Benz that like the whole Catholic Church is going to like back them up. But in my opinion, they've been in prison for several years. It turns out that not only are they not getting backed up, but there's like a new pope who's sworn in, and he has openly condemned their actions from the first 2 movies.
So Francis.
No. This pope is like a young kind of warrior pope. I see him being played by Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro's not that young. Oh, for a pope, yeah. For a pope, that'd be real young, yeah.
Yeah. But he comes out and condemns their actions. Okay. And then one night, a group of men kind of break in and try to like kill the brothers.
In the prison?
Yeah, they break into the prison to kill the brothers. They manage to fend them off, barely escaping with their lives. And then
when do they go marching?
I'll get to it.
Okay, all right.
There's a daring rescue involving Romeo, who is Clifton Collins Jr. character from the second movie. The boys get out, and now they're trying to figure out who it was that came to kill him. Eventually, they discover that the new pope is actually the head of the mafia. I mean, they've been dealing with the mafia in the first 2 movies. Turns out that the mafia kind of infiltrated the Catholic Church and had a pope put in, kind of like what the Medici family did back during the Renaissance.
That's valid.
So that they can run a criminal empire that uses the world's biggest religion as a front.
And is tax-free.
Absolutely. So they decide that they're going to go assassinate the Pope.
So they have a big battle at the Vatican?
Absolutely.
Like that'd be the final
They go to the Vatican.
Right.
So we have the McManus brothers, right. We have Romeo, we have Julie Benz and Willem Dafoe as the detectives, and then we also have like maybe some other characters that they met in prison. And all of them are the saints, and they go marching into the Vatican.
And they have the final battle in St. Peter's.
They have a big battle. Eventually they do manage to kill the Pope, but because this is the last one in the franchise for me, they get killed in the crossfire between the mafia and the police.
The crossfire?
Absolutely. Because that's cross-promoting.
Oh, Christianity.
So they get killed in the crossfire. And the world is like, oh my God, these guys murdered the Pope. Mm-hmm. But then using the leaked recordings and whatnot that they used to figure out that the Pope is bad,
right?
Willem Dafoe and Julie Benz are able to like get out to the world that it turns out that they weren't necessarily evil.
Right.
And then the movie ends just like the first one did, which is like on the street interviews with people, and some people are like, we need the saints, they're awesome, and then other people will be like, they're vigilantes. So in this case, they'll be like, I'm glad they're dead, they did the wrong thing, they can't take law into their hands. And other people will be like, saints forever!
Oh, and then they could go to New Orleans and have some people be like, who that gonna beat them saints? Like, who that gonna beat them saints?
I think it would be a great way for Troy Duffy to end, this movie franchise, which, for God, all I know is the only movies he's made.
I can think of, there's also, so in the actual Vatican, in St. Peter's, there's a big statue of Peter, and everybody, so this thing is for hundreds of years, people, like the tradition is you go in and you touch the feet of the statue, but people have been doing it for so long that the feet now are like rubbed off, like they look literally just like flat, like nubs.
Like
and they used to, and
like Buber Nebz.
Yes. But when it was built, the statue, they were like full human feet. And so I think it'd be cool that like right when they walk in and they're like loading their guns, like they're hiding behind the statue, like in the middle of the firefight in St. Peter's, and he looks up and like rubs the foot, and turns, and for like the good
each one of them touches one of the feet,
and then to like because they think they're like gonna die and they're like really freak the fuck out, and they say St. Peter and like touch his feet, and then turn around, they're like and they remind themselves like, what would Peter do? Probably not kill these guys, but we're gonna do it. So
I think it'd be a great way to end that as a trilogy.
That would be kind of cool.
You'd watch that?
I'd go see. I'd have to see 1 and 2. I've never seen them, but
you never saw the first one?
No, I've never seen any of them. I'd have to watch them. But I would go see it. It sounds cool. If anything, just for that Vatican fight scene would be sweet.
Yeah. All right. What about you?
All right. So my second pick. was always a really big fan as a kid of, and still even now today as an adult, of the animated film The Iron Giant. That was Vin Diesel, one of Vin Diesel's first ones. He voiced the giant. Jennifer Aniston was the mom. A lot of people forgot about that.
She was, wasn't she?
And Shooter McGavin was the bad guy.
Name of that
Shooter McGavin. I don't know. I think his name is
now,
Shooter McGavin. No, but he was the voice of the villain. So I thought that Iron Giant 2 would be really cool. So recall that at the end of the Iron Giant, they sent a nuke to try and stop the giant, and he saved the city, Rockwell, Maine, where they were. He flew up saying, "I'm Superman," and he flew up.
Doesn't that scene always kind of get a tear?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually watched the movie again this week.
Christopher McDonald.
Oh, you mean Shooter McGavin?
Yeah.
Christopher McDonald is an actor, is a character that he played. Shooter played.
Ah, that's right. It's a biopic.
Right. So anyway, he gets hit by the nuclear bomb and explodes, and they give Hogarth the one piece that they found. That was the jaw bolt. The jaw bolt.
The jaw bolt.
Yeah. But then it shows in Iceland, it shows the head landed in Iceland, and it's calling the other pieces back that are slowly trying to come to him, and the movie ends. So I thought part 2 would be cool, that it takes place, years later. Hogarth now is an adult, so it's like that one would take place in 1957.
So you think like it took that many years for all the parts
to get back to. So this would take place in let's say 1963, maybe 6 years later or something.
Okay.
So Hogarth now is like a young teen, he's like a young adult, he's like 20 or something. So I think it'd be cool that the giant, it gets all its pieces back together, and Hogarth, the little thing wanting to get back to his mouth, Hogarth goes and finds it in Iceland, finds the giant, they reconnect, and then the story from there goes. So the first bit of the movie is them finding the giant and reconnecting. The second part would be that, remember, that an army of Iron Giants, the creators of the Iron Giants, come to Earth searching for their giant that's been missing.
Well, yeah, they send an alien robot to basically infiltrate Earth.
Yeah, well, he was supposed
to. So they probably want to show up and check on his progress.
Well, they think that he was supposed to be the invasion robot. They think that he's been controlling Earth at this point. So they go to follow up and realize, oh no. So the giant then has to battle and become Earth's protector against them. So it would kind of have a Godzilla almost kind of thing going on. I think it'd be a cool
Pacific Rim.
Yeah, sort of, but better. And all the characters could reprise their roles except for get an older person to play Hogarth. Bringing Dean, the Beatnik in there, just the whole gang.
That was such a great movie.
It was a fantastic film, and I think
it's one of my favorite animated.
Me too. It probably is my favorite animated movie, and I think it'd be really cool to have that because then it would have the heart and everything of the first one, but also have that kind of cool action because the giant. When the giant went into its battle rage mode for the 2 minutes, that everyone was like, "Holy shit, that's sweet! We want to see more of that."
Yeah.
So this movie would have him doing that, but this time as a savior, helping humanity.
And this time instead, whenever he gears up because he has to fight against the other robots, he's like, "Remember, you're not a gun. You're Superman." And he goes, "I'm not Superman." And then all the gadgets come out, and he goes, "I'm Batman." And then he turns and goes into battle.
Oh God! Oh no! Maybe.
Womp womp.
Yeah, way to ruin my idea. No, but I think Iron
Giant 2, Batman.
No, I think it would just be Iron Giant 2, and I think it'd be pretty cool. I wasn't making fun of your Saints idea.
Hey, my Saints idea was awesome.
Okay, so Iron Giant 2 isn't awesome?
I didn't say it wasn't.
Batman.
I'm just making the connection to Superman.
Oh, Jesus. All right, go ahead.
Iron Giant 2, Batman versus Superman.
What's your second idea?
All right. Follow me on this one. Here's what I'm thinking. Braveheart.
Okay, you're gonna need to spell this out for me.
Braveheart, aka Braveheart 2. Braveheart.
So William Wallace, you realize, was cut open.
Oh yeah,
had his guts played with, and then was hung.
Yeah, and he had his
head chopped off.
He had his head cut off, put on a pike. They also cut off his genitals.
Oh, they cut off his genitals?
I don't know if they did in the movie, but in history, he was emasculated and then eviscerated and then had his head cut off and put on a pike. They really, really hated William Wallace.
Yeah, Jesus. That sucks.
So, here's what I'm thinking. A young Celtic witch...
Freedom! Sorry, please continue.
A young Celtic witch named Freedom, played by Karen Gillan.
Who's that?
She's the Scottish actress that was in Guardians of the Galaxy, and before that she was on Doctor Who.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
She was the blue chick.
Yeah, gotcha.
So a young Celtic witch digs up the body of William Wallace, still played by Mel Gibson.
The headless body of William Wallace?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Did they burn the body?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. She uses necromancy.
And freedom.
She brings him back from the dead.
Yeah.
Which totally explains why Mel Gibson looks so much older now, because the movie would take place a couple of weeks later, but they're just like, oh yeah, she's young, her magic isn't great, so he can't look perfect.
Oh no, it could take place years later.
No, it doesn't have to.
Well, whatever. Okay, so continue. So she uses her magic. The evil witch
brings... Wait a minute, why would his body age? He's already dead.
Oh, true, I don't know. All right, but she uses magic to bring William Wallace back.
Yeah, she uses her magic to bring William Wallace back. And they also start using their magic to raise a zombie army.
Okay, so you're starting to get a little.
Oh yeah, no, follow me on this.
Jump the shark.
All right, so the English are like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? There's all these demons running around. So they contact the Vatican. They're like, hey,
wait a minute, but no, the Church of England doesn't like the Vatican.
Yeah, but this is at a point where there are fucking zombies walking around. They're going for all the holy backup they can get, and the Vatican's like, we got this. We're going to send our #1 agent, played by Antonio Banderas.
Okay, so he would be like...
Antonio Banderas is a priest.
A warrior priest.
Yeah, warrior priest / exorcist assassin.
I'm seeing a Catholic theme here.
Absolutely. We have Benicio del Toro playing the Pope. We have Antonio Banderas playing a warrior priest.
Freedom!
He's sent to kill the witch, which would undo her spell, killing off William Wallace and the whole army.
Right.
But ultimately, William Wallace is successful in turning him into a zombie himself. Turning Antonio Banderas' character into a zombie.
Is that where they have a weird zombie sex scene?
No, he just bites him. Jesus.
Okay, I don't know, man.
Was that a Freudian slip? What was that?
No, I don't know. You said he turned him into...
That sounded like Tina from Bob's Burgers.
You said he turned him into a zombie, so I don't know how.
I don't think zombie is an STD.
Oh, yeah. Actually, no. It probably is.
Spread by bodily fluids, I guess.
Okay, all right, continue.
So he turns him into a zombie by giving him lots of boy kisses, and together they run the English out of Scotland, and
Scotland becomes a zombie leper colony.
Leper colony?
I don't know.
Well, after that, William Wallace becomes known as the Dead King of Scots, and he becomes the King of Scotland.
Okay, that last part sounded cool.
The movie's tagline is, "A heart doesn't have to beat to be brave."
Well done.
Hang on, I have to say that again without laughing. A heart doesn't have to beat to be brave.
Well done. Fantastic.
I think the movie would have to be directed by Mel Gibson.
Yeah, okay.
Because at this point, I don't think anyone would hire him after he called a bunch of people the N-word.
And after this movie, no one will ever hire him again. You know what? People would go see it just because they'd be intrigued, and then would leave that theater pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
The Rotten Tomato score for Braveheart is definitely a solid 2%.
Braveheart. A heart doesn't have to beat to be brave.
Oh God, I would give that right now. I'm going to pre-review Braveheart and give it a 1 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 10. I'm going to pre-order tickets tonight. I'm going to make them. I'm going to make tickets.
Let's see the Braveheart in the IMAX. Oh God. Okay, you done?
He wouldn't even have to paint his face. He's already gross.
Yeah. Oh God. Are you done? You got anything to add on that one? Or?
No, I think it speaks for itself.
Freedom!
Brains.
Okay. Oh goodness. All right. So my third thought was I'm not a huge M. Night Shyamalan Dingo fan. However, that being
nobody is.
Yeah, so I'm sure he is.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's true. He's probably not a fan of
all of his movies are clearly screams for help.
Yeah. No, you know what though? There's a couple Signs and The Village.
He made The Last Airbender so that someone would assassinate him.
That's true. No, Signs, The Village, I enjoyed, and in particular.
But The Village is just a really long episode of Scooby-Doo.
Okay, let me just finish. But my favorite of his films was Unbreakable, with Bruce Willis. The story of how Bruce Willis basically finds out that he has superpowers, and he basically is talked into becoming a superhero by Samuel L. Jackson, whose excellent character was Mr. Glass, who was the exact opposite, who was bones were really brittle and could break. If you've never seen Unbreakable, check it out.
It is one of the coolest superhero origin stories.
Yeah, and you have no idea that it's a superhero movie pretty much until the end. And the twist was fantastic in that one. So that was M. Night Shyamalan in the heyday of his twists, as opposed to now where
basically, if you put Bruce Willis in a movie, he's gonna do all right.
Yeah, well, now he's just, I think, doing the twist, like the dance,
Yeah.
as opposed to actually making movies with good twists. But so I would think that Unbreakable 2 would pick up where the first one left off. So now, he has become Bruce Willis's character, is actually putting himself out there, saving people, but he's still trying to kind of do it behind the scenes. And Mr. Glass, who's been indicted, who's in prison now for the crimes that they proved he committed, he's become like even more crazy and obsessed with the hero because he now sees that he's created the hero. So Mr. Glass has like someone else that he's like inspired who breaks him out of prison, like some other psychopath kind of person breaks him out of prison, and the two of them plots, like they're like, now that we've created this hero, we need him to have like, because any good hero needs to stop an evil plot, so they like do something to like get a nuclear bomb or something fucking crazy, and they're and over here Bruce Willis is trying to lead like what he can of a normal life, but helping people like on the side of stuff. But then he realizes, oh no, like I have to become like a full-fledged superhero to do this shit, and so they have like a big battle in a volcano or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like it goes from being like,
I mean, maybe not a battle at a volcano.
No, I'm saying I would.
And then Aang the Avatar shows up.
No, seriously, I would want it to go from being like, you know, like the serious tone of the movie, but it would get progressively more and more superhero-y.
Yeah.
Whereas like, and he doesn't have like a cape or anything, but kind of like maybe like the Hancock sort of like modern superhero-esque.
Oh yeah.
Like he has a suit like he ends up for the final confrontation actually even having like a superhero suit or whatever, and then the whole thing turns out to be the dream of a kid with autism or something. No, I'm kidding. No, but I think it'd be a cool movie.
No, yeah. You know what? I would watch that.
Yeah, to see, and he could even get like a sidekick and Crypto, the super dog.
You know what? I think if M. Night Shyamalan would have cast Bruce Willis as one of those trees in The Happening, it probably would have been a good movie.
Oh God, The Happening! I forgot that The Happening happened.
Yeah, it was just Mark Wahlberg being scared.
Yeah, which is unusual.
He was just like, "What? You mean trees?" And they're like, "Yeah, trees." He's like, "What?"
And they're happening right now.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
And Bruce Willis is just like, "I'm a fucking tree."
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. So that's my spiel for.
You know what? Bruce Willis should
Unbreakable
just be in every M. Night Shyamalan movie. He should have played Aang in The Last Airbender. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both bald.
Yeah, that's true, and no one would be able to tell the difference.
And Bruce Willis, I mean, clearly Hollywood is whitewashing everything anyway.
Yeah. So why not keep
make Bruce Willis Aang?
I mean, they whitewashed everything in that movie anyway. So.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So those are our picks for. All jokes aside, we know we're doing this silly, but we actually think that these would be cool sequels. However, over the week, so Ben proposed to me that not to be married. He that I think of one that would be an absolutely ludicrous sequel that we would like to have.
I was going to do another one.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, before you get to your ludicrous one, because clearly I think Braveheart should be made.
That's true. All right,
I did my joke one early.
All right, go ahead.
All right, this one I do think would be really cool, although I'm taking it in a weird direction. You're going to have to follow me on this one. I want to see Galaxy Quest 2.
Okay.
Really, really bad.
I don't remember Galaxy Quest, but I mean, I've seen it, but I don't remember like everything.
Well,
that
it was
happened
from
in it.
'99.
But I remember the overall gist of the movie.
So at the end of Galaxy Quest, the original one, they set up that the crew of the Galaxy Quest are going to be like a new TV show.
Yeah.
Like years after the old show ended.
Like Star Trek.
Yeah. So I think that the new Galaxy Quest series proves to be a hit, and it runs for like 9-10 seasons.
Oh, didn't Severus Snape die?
Yeah, Alan Rickman.
So he wouldn't be in it.
Right.
Because he's dead.
But that doesn't matter for
no,
my pitch.
They could put him in the movie. Just bring his dead body.
Stop it.
Bring his dead body and lay it down.
It's too soon.
Okay, continue.
For this pitch, he doesn't have to be alive.
All right, continue.
None of them do.
Yeah.
Except for Tim Allen and
Sigourney
Weaver. So the show gets a whole new cast, like basically what Star Trek did with Next Generation. And I'm seeing the cast as being like Michael B. Jordan is the captain, and Jennifer Lawrence is like the Sigourney Weaver.
Okay.
And because this movie's here's the little trick here. I want this movie to be directed by Kevin Smith.
Okay, that'd be cool.
So I want Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes to be two of the engineers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jay and Silent Bob.
As the engineers.
Make it Jay and Silent Bob.
And then there'll just be like one of them is like Vin Diesel in a big frog suit or something.
Yeah. Okay.
He's like a space frog.
Yeah. The Iron Giant.
Yeah, whatever.
The Iron
Groot.
Frog. Yeah, I am Frog.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the new cast.
Okay.
And the show ran, again, for a few years. Because at this point, it's been like 17 years. So the first one could have run for like 9 seasons. The second one could have run for like 7 seasons.
So like Star Trek and then Voyager.
And like, they've wrapped up, you know what I mean? And now they're going to different things together. They're going to like sci-fi cons.
Okay.
And just like they did in the first movie.
Right, yeah.
So they're at a sci-fi con with the new crew, as well as a couple members of the original crew, specifically Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver.
Sure.
And maybe Tony Shalhoub, who was Tech Sergeant Jen.
Okay.
So the lights randomly go out, and when they come back on, the celebrities are all missing.
Oh, God.
The crew is transported halfway across the galaxy, and they find out like that the same people that picked them up the last time are
those
like,
weird aliens.
We need your help again.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sorry to interrupt your comic book convention.
Because they're so nice and peaceful that they're not going to stop any new threat that jumps up in the galaxy.
Sure.
So there's a self-appointed like Imperial Grand Master.
Right.
You know. I mean, we played with a lot of Star Trek tropes in the first one. I think we could play with some Star Wars tropes in this one.
Yeah.
Especially because Kevin Smith is, really big on Star Wars.
Yeah, and they could use laser swords.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or plasma blades.
Yeah, and they can learn about the essence.
Yeah.
The essence. May the essence reside with you.
The forcefulness.
Yeah, the forcefulness.
Anyway, so they go to fight this evil emperor type character played by Liam Neeson, who would be some kind of him in an alien suit as well.
Okay, yeah, Darth Vader could be his name.
Yeah, or something like
Darth Vader.
By the way, I was at Target today. I saw a Mr. Potato Head that was named Darth Tater.
Oh, I like that.
And then there was also Frylo Ren.
Oh, that one I like too.
But they also had the translations into other languages, and it didn't quite match up. Oh. So it was like, Kylo de Papa Ren.
Oh God, that's Spanish. That's Spanish, by the way.
And there was one that was just like Darth Potato.
Darth Potato.
Which I think, like, because Tater clearly doesn't, translate to Italian.
Yeah.
So they were just like, Darth Potato.
Spicy potato.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I'm sorry, that just popped into my head.
Yeah, you idiot. All right.
So basically they end up, the crew has to be like, Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver, this would be their way to, pass on the torch for a new possible, franchise of Galaxy Quest movies.
Right.
Where they're like, oh yeah, by the way, aliens are real.
Yeah.
We didn't want to tell you guys when you brought on, Galaxy Quest: The Next Generation, because we never thought it would be a thing again.
You mean the following generation? Next generation is that's copyright.
Well, yeah, the name of the show would be like Galaxy Quest: Another Generation.
Yeah, the generation that came after
Galaxy
the first
Quest, babies. Anyway, so they're like, you mean aliens are real? Yeah, aliens are real. Turns out.
Oh man.
And so they have to work.
I like
together.
that cast you picked.
Yeah, like Michael B. Jordan, Jennifer Lawrence as
Jay and Silent Bob
as the new Tim Allen and
Weaver. So this would be my alternate version of that plot. As opposed to it being kind of recycling the same, that they were at a convention and then they got stolen from the convention, I would have it be where they were ending the show. So the show had its seasons, and then to end the show, they were going to do a film. And on the set of the film, they think that the original cast or the new cast thinks they're filming a movie, but in reality, it's the movie set gets attacked by this new aliens, and then the movie. It's a movie within a movie of them saving the world from aliens.
So you want Space Tropic Thunder, directed by Kevin Smith?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want, yeah.
Oh, dude, how did I not think of Tropic Thunder 2?
That would be cool, too, yeah.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, oh god. Alright, anything else with Galaxy Quest 2? Or?
No, I think that's basically
I think John Williams should do the score, though.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I want to see Kevin Smith do Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, that'd be funny. All right, so I digress back to what I was mentioning before I interrupted you. Sorry.
So
here's my totally serious. Oh my God! What a fantastic
pre-ordering a ticket.
Already going to win an Academy Award suggestion for a film. Here we go. And follow me on this one, everybody. Okay, you ready? The Curious Case of Benjamin Button: The Return. Okay, so at the end of Benjamin Button, for those of you who
I didn't watch it.
For those of you unaware, Benjamin Button is born an old man, and ages backwards. So as he's getting mentally older, he's getting physically younger. The film ends with him being held as a little baby, but he has the mind of like a 67-year-old or something.
And he's teaching a Harvard class.
No. He's being held. This little baby's being held, and then it like closes its eyes, and then she just basically puts the cloth over him, and the assumption is that he died.
Okay.
There. But actually, I think he was supposed to be like in the mind of like in the 80s or something, 80-year-old or something.
So the idea is that at that point he was too young to be a baby
or something. He died.
He preemied out.
But this is where that's not what actually happened. They were misleading you. She put that cloth over his head, but his reverse aging continued. So with the intelligence of an adult and the full cognitive ability of an adult, he kept going back in time, age-wise. So our story takes place shortly thereafter, where he is now, once again, in the womb.
How did he get back in the womb?
We don't need to worry about that. That's just how...
They just wait till he was a bit smaller and just...
No. It's just that it doesn't matter. It's a curious case.
Oh, so by magic he just happens to show up in a womb.
It's curious, yeah.
That is rather curious.
He's back, and it never, the whole movie...
So the name of the movie is like The Even More Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah, but the whole movie would take place inside this woman's body, where he's, like, you never leave the body.
Fantastic voyage.
The movie would take place as he's going backwards.
The Fantastic Voyage of Benjamin Button.
Yes. So Benjamin Button discovers that if this keeps happening, he's going to go all the way to the point where his zygote will separate, the egg and the sperm will separate, and he'll cease to exist.
And then he'll just be like a sperm moonwalking back.
He won't be anything. If they separate, they're separating. He's donezo.
Oh, okay.
So the movie goes as him being, like the full about to be born baby, going back to the embryonic stage, the fetal state, like the fetus. Like, he's so progressively throughout the movie, he's losing his abilities. Like, he's losing, his arms are disappearing, and he's like swimming like a little nugget swimming around. But he's trying to, and like the umbilical cord is growing. It's growing out of it. Like, all this crazy stuff's happening. He's trying to like stop this process, trying to find a way to stop it. So,
who was that? Brad Pitt?
Yeah. So Brad Pitt would obviously voice Benjamin Button as the little fetus going back in time. It's
really a passion project.
It would be really good. So I also had a couple other people that could be in there. So I talked about how I think.
Would this be an animated movie, I guess?
No, it would be live action.
Oh.
It would be a lot of CG, but it would be live action.
It would just be an ultrasound.
Well, but they would like put their faces, so they do like motion capture, but they put like their faces on like different body parts. So I think it'd be cool to have Lawrence Fishburne as Uterus the Wise. so kind of like rehashing his Morpheus days.
Yeah.
But so he's like the mighty Uterus who helps young Benjamin, like, if you must seek out the fallopian tubes. They will tell you what you seek.
You must find the sparrow parts, or you will surely die.
So Lawrence Fishburne's helping him, and then also, here's the other part.
Uterus the Wise.
And the London Boys Choir would play as the embryonic stem cells, who all are there like, "Oh, Benjamin, we will help you." And they like sing to him, and they always like sing in their like high pitched voices, and he's basically just trying to avoid his ultimate demise. But he has to really go through this problem of becoming a less developed embryo. I think fantastic movie, 10 out of 10, man. And the score would be by Junkie XL, so a lot of like explosions and really heavy music.
Directed by Michael Bay.
Absolutely, directed by Michael Bay. So the Curious Voyage of Benjamin Button.
The Curious Voyage of Benjamin Button. So how does it end?
It ends with him just in the nick of time, because obviously the third act would be really a race against the clock here, as he's becoming like he's only like a 14-cell organism, but he's trying to stop his sperm cell and his egg cell from separating. So as he's like progressively losing cells, he's like reaching to hit the button on this timer, like cut the red wire or something. It'll keep him alive. But the white blood cell is like, the white blood cells are like the enemies here, because they're trying to like prevent him from.
Take that, Hollywood.
Yes. Oh God! Right. But the white blood cell leader who's like the main villain, would be voiced by James Earl Jones.
No, it won't.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
Actually, he already did voice a white guy.
No, so he'd be voiced by James Earl Jones, like kind of like the Darth Vader sort of thing, and it would be like him and Benjamin have like this epic battle on the top of like the liver or something, and but then he like cuts the red wire just in the nick of time and reverses his aging process. So then the movie ends with him like being born, like he's like, I can see the light, as he's like getting ready to come out and live like a regular childhood.
Except he has the experience of a 100-year-old man.
Yeah, and that sets up the next sequel.
And what an interesting idea of reincarnation. That's so thoughtful of you.
So existential.
So deep.
Yeah, so that's my plot. The Curious Voyage of Benjamin Button, featuring the voice talents of James Earl Jones, Lawrence Fishburne, Michelle Pfeiffer,
take that, Hollywood.
Tim Allen, Liam Neeson.
Oh, that's right.
Jim Carrey.
Michael Winslow just making a bunch of sound effects.
And the London Symphony Boys Choir.
There will just be like a bunch of like little cells swimming around.
And of course we would have who's the guy, the motion capture king?
Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah, and he also played Caesar in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes or whatever.
Yeah. He does all the things.
So he would also we'd get him a role in there somewhere. Maybe as...
I thought he would be the mocap for every single character, and then they would just paste their face.
No, I want him to do the voice, too, of someone, so...
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that would be, I'm already getting ready to go see it in IMAX, so...
You know what? He could just play the gallbladder, and he would just be Gollum.
Gallbladder, though.
Yeah.
And it would definitely be in 3D.
Gollum the gallbladder.
A lot of things would be flying out at you throughout this film.
Yeah. You know what? In fact, it would be like one of those 4D, like the front rows in a splash zone.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
They just like randomly, guys with super soakers just squirt them.
Yeah. Oh, God. And they have like a constant smell of like fish coming.
Jesus Christ.
Coming in
through the air.
All right. So moving on.
Didn't we have a couple from Twitter?
So from Twitter we had some suggestions for sequels that you all would like to see. So let me check here. So one that we were requested to discuss would be an I Am Legend sequel. So I'm assuming that would be taking the alternative ending where Will Smith survived.
Well, not necessarily.
Or not. So how would you like to see an I Am Legend sequel go down?
Well, I think it would be about the village that she goes back to
at the end of the film.
Yeah, and them attempting to get the cure out to the world, the vaccination.
Yeah, to help stop the...
Right.
Whatever the hell those things were.
Yeah. Well, in the book, they're vampires.
Oh, I've never read the book.
Well, I didn't read it, but I've had people explain it to me.
Gotcha.
Like, it's very different from the movie because
we have to stay with the movie though.
Yeah. So they're not vampires.
Right.
They're weird zombie people.
So I would think it'd be cool to take place like a few years later, where enough humans now are getting the cure, but those things are still out there terrorizing, and so it's like a big full-on like a war movie between.
So it would be like the difference between Alien and Aliens.
Yeah. This
would be like the action, like they're shooting them with darts filled with vaccination.
And it could be called We Are Legends.
Yeah.
And
still legend, bitch.
Yeah, hashtag legends. No. But no, We Are Legends, and it would have like a cast of you'd have like 4 main characters as opposed to just Will Smith and a dog.
Or like the first one is I Am Legend. This one would be like I Am Dynasty.
No, that's stupid.
And then the next one would be like I Am Empire. And then after that, no, this one would have to be I Am Empire. And the next one would be like I Am Jedi.
Yeah. Okay, so you kind of just ruined that. You just took that good idea.
I'm still on Braveheart.
Oh, God. And thinking about James Earl Jones voicing.
Dude, Braveheart would be good. Shut up.
Okay, whatever. All right. So, yeah, I Am Legend 2, we think would be pretty cool to see.
No. If we took it seriously, I think it could be a really good
and I think it could be well done.
So long as we don't make Hancock 2.
The other we were asked to discuss was District 9. So,
yeah.
So, you want to take the lead on that one?
Well, shoot, I want to see more of what happened to Charlton Copley. Charlton?
The guy who became a prawn.
Yeah. Because, we know he became one, but we see at the end that he still keeps some of, who he is.
Yeah.
So...
Well, the movie ended with him hanging out now fully a prawn. So.
Yeah. He prawned out.
Yeah, he went full-on prawn.
So I think clearly this would have to be District 10. because they were building District 10
Yeah.
and District 9.
Yeah.
And as I recall, at the end of the movie, they start relocating them, yeah?
Yeah.
So this would be maybe like because he was a person and now he's a prawn, maybe he is like, it's like the Avatar Uprising sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That same kind of concept.
Well, District 9 was, a kind of allegory for apartheid.
Yeah.
I think that this one would be cool if it was an allegory for, not cool, like, obviously horrible things that would happen. But I think it'd be interesting if it was an allegory for, like, maybe, like, the, like, Rwanda crisis or something. And it could be kind of, like, take some parts from, like, Hotel Rwanda, maybe, but make it, like, with the prawns.
So you think that there might be, like, two different groups of prawns?
Yeah.
Like prawn Hutus and prawn Tutsis?
Yeah, and then they would, like, try to, like, the one group of prawns try to team with, like, the humans and eliminate the other kind of prawns, and it gets kind of like the Hotel Rwanda sort of thing going on.
Yeah, I could see that.
That would stick with the theme of, like, the allegory.
And it would also be, like, because the first movie was super dark, I think.
Oh, it could be really dark.
You would have to keep it dark. You wouldn't want to get silly and campy
right.
with a bunch of CGI.
Right.
Even though there's a lot of CGI, but you know what I mean.
Part of me kind of wants... I think I might watch District 9 again later tonight after we finish this.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I need to watch it again.
But yeah, so we think District 10 would be cool. Definitely a hard R rating on that one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, those guns blew people up in the first one.
Yeah, and more... I think there would be, like, a little bit... I would like a little more, like, backstory on the prawns' home world or something. Like, just get some more, like, information about that.
Yeah.
Because we knew that they were refugees when they came to South Africa.
Yeah.
But...
I think it'd also be great if it, how the first movie kind of started with like being a documentary and then it became like an action movie.
Yeah.
I think it'd be neat if the second movie started and like with a regular movie and then the way it kind of like tapers off after like the third act might be like a documentary talking about the events that led to the prawns maybe leaving Earth.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, like
that'd be cool. And Hans Zimmer have to do the score
just to set up that kind of like curve that like it ends with like this is the like say like
this is their story, the prawn story.
Right.
Coming to an end.
Yeah, exactly. So then it kind of implies that, like, what you just watched was a really long... Like, if you watch them back-to-back, you watch, like, a really long documentary on these aliens that came and were on Earth for a couple decades.
Yeah, and how we, as humans, just totally, like, dropped the ball.
Yeah, we did what we always do when we don't understand something. We just fucking kill it and shove it into camps.
And we really just make it a horrible for everyone involved. But yeah, I think District 10 would be cool. All right, so that's it for our movie sequel pitches. So I think to close out the night, we will, as always, talk about our Clash. Freedom!
Let's get ready to rumble!
Well, first, so to revisit last week's Clash of the Tights, we pitted Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, against Thor.
Thor!
That's quite enough of that.
He never calls his own name.
So, that's true.
He just yells for Asgard.
So, yeah, that's true. So, after putting it, we decided that I went with Captain Marvel, Ben went with Thor, and we put it out there in the Twitterverse, and the people have spoken, my compadre, and with 60% of the vote, Thor has come out on top. So I concede victory. So you all thought that Thor would be and you know what? I'm going to put just my perception is that I bet you a lot of you people voting only know Thor from the Avenger movies.
Oh yeah, no, that's a fair caveat.
But I will.
I'm going to assume it was a popularity contest.
I will concede victory. Good for you,
and
Thor.
And Chris Hemsworth is very attractive.
Yeah, congratulations, Chris. All right, so let's break it down with tonight's challengers.
Tonight's challengers we have, coming straight out of England from Arthurian legend, King Arthur of the Knights of the Round Table.
From Camelot.
He is a powerhouse, coming in with Excalibur, the magic sword pulled from the stone, the blade of prophecy, making him the king of all Britons.
The one that sword that no other man besides Arthur could remove from the stone, and was basically destined to find and retrieve.
The blade that he used to unite the kingdom, to bring together all the peoples of Britain.
All right, you can stop talking like that.
You don't like that voice?
No, I don't. Not one bit.
Yeah, so King Arthur, using Excalibur, became the first king of England, according to Arthurian legend.
He has, obviously, he's an excellent swordsman.
Mm-hmm.
He has the leadership ability, the bravery, and I mean also the kind of magical component because Excalibur is a magic sword. So
yes. I don't know exactly what version of King Arthur we're using.
No, we can just talk.
We're not using Clive Owen.
No, we can talk about general. Oh God, that movie was shit, wasn't it?
No, I kind of like that.
Okay, then we're not even gonna go down that road. All right, so you're thinking Arthur. We just kind of briefly went over his stats, right? So let's check out in the other corner.
We have Aragorn, the Return of the King
of Gondor,
the King of Gondor.
So Strider. So we have Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. He is a ranger. So he's excellent experience with a sword and a bow. He wields the Isildur's blade, the sword that cuts Sauron's...
Isildur's Bane.
Yeah, that cuts Sauron's hand. So it's also a magical sword. It's been rebuilt and blessed by the elves.
Mm-hmm. Which means it probably glows blue when there is orc blood around.
I don't think that's ever written, but it'd be cool.
I think that's just all elf blades.
You can just make it glow blue all the time anyway.
Yeah, it's
just for whatever reason.
Like a lightsaber.
Bluetooth.
Yeah. It's Bluetooth enabled.
Yeah, Bluetooth enabled.
Whereas Excalibur's got built-in Wi-Fi.
Aragorn also, I would say, has a long history of combat knowledge, both in like grand scale warfare, but also at the lesser, like one-on-one dueling kind of fighting also.
Yeah.
That I don't know if Arthur necessarily has. So my take on this is that I think that Arthur, until when he pulled that sword out of the stone, he was just like a regular Joe Schmo. Like whereas Aragorn has been his entire life training as a ranger, highly trained. I go Aragorn because I think Aragorn has more training and skills, and also if they lose their swords, Aragorn has the survival instincts, the hand-to-hand combat, and the bow also, whereas Arthur really only has the sword, so if he gets Excalibur out of his hand, he kind of might be screwed. And I think that Isildur's Bane and Excalibur both being magical swords, I think Excalibur is a more powerful weapon, but I think that Isildur's Bane won't get like cut in half or anything, because it also has the magical properties.
No, that's true. I don't think he's going to be able to break Isildur's Bane, especially after it's been reforged.
Right.
Because it was shattered.
Yeah, but Sauron is also like the devil.
Yeah, I mean everything he touched was infused.
Sauron would have broken Excalibur too. So I'm gonna go Aragorn.
Now, you know what? I think I'm gonna agree with you because I don't know enough about Arthur Pendragon's like super like abilities, but I know that obviously he's a great enough warrior and warlord that he was able to conquer all of the different like tribes and fight against all the barbarian savages and
dragons and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, he kills dragons and he rocks around with wizards.
Yeah.
But then again, so like if this was Arthur tag team with Merlin versus Aragorn tag team with Gandalf, that would be an interesting combat.
Yeah,
too.
I still might actually Merlin, and see in that one I'd pick Merlin is like the ultimate wizard. So I'd pick Merlin in that one.
Yeah, I think Merlin, if he was backing him up, because I mean, what can't Merlin do?
That's true, but I'm gonna
Merlin can warp like space and time.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the one-on-one Aragorn.
I agree. I think one-on-one Aragorn is going to have better training, and if you believe the movies as canon, he's super old for whatever reason, because at the end of The Hobbit, now I know this is complete bullshit because it's not in the books. They were just doing this for stupid fan service. The end of the movie, where the King of the Elves says to Legolas, like, keep an eye out for a young ranger from Gondor. They call him Strider, something like that. It's like, doesn't this movie take place like 60 years before the events of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, but can't they see the future? Like, can't.
No.
Oh, I thought the elves had the elves.
No, they talk about him like he's a young man or a boy or something. Like I know that. No, there's no way. Yeah. I know he's one of the men of of the Dunedain or whatever. Yeah, which means they might live longer.
What's your point though about this?
My point is that Viggo Mortensen's not 60 years old.
No, what does that have to do with the combat though?
Oh, my point is, I was just saying, like, if you believe it, then he has decades worth of knowledge.
Right.
But you shouldn't believe that because there's no way Viggo Mortensen is like 70 or 80 years old.
But I think that Aragorn does have, regardless, he does have substantial more training, combat training, than Arthur does. If we're talking about by the time they're both kings and they're both warrior kings, I think that Aragorn has had extensive more training and especially different combat styles that will help him overcome Arthur, particularly if their swords cancel each other out.
Agreed. Although I will say, I think, despite what it may appear, I think Arthur might have spent more time in combat.
Because
I mean, he just spends a lot of time walking around with people. Aragorn, I mean.
Well, and after
there's a lot in the third movie, sure,
and presumably after Mordor has been defeated, Gondor and Middle Earth's going to live like happily ever after. So from then
Arthur
on,
is constantly fighting against
something.
the Vikings and the Visigoths and all of
Morgan
the different
Le Fay
tribes.
And,
Oh yeah, and he's always got to fight that witch bitch.
Yeah. Which bitch? That bitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're still on Team Aragorn?
I'm still on Team Aragorn, but I didn't want it to seem like a blowout because
Gotcha.
I think this would be a great duel.
I think it'd be a great fight too. So we are unanimous in our decision. We think Aragorn would come out on top in this one, but we will, as always, post the poll and see what you all have to say. And next week we'll figure out who ultimately wins in the Battle of the Kings.
Oh, and I'm really excited for our matchup for next week. Keep on point for it.
Yeah, we'll be discussing that one too, so look forward to it. So that's our show for the evening. Thank you for listening in, and join us next week when we continue to talk about all sorts of fun nerd stuff, geek stuff,
double stuff,
and crunchy stuff. All right, that's our show. Sign out. Damn. Freedom!
Wabba-labba-dub-dub.
Chicka-chicka.
Bang!